Hey, good morning. This is Joe for Citrus County Porch Life, bringing you a daily word for men for December 11th, 2024. And the word for today is exemplary. Looking to Jesus, the pioneer and perfecter of our faith, who for the sake of the joy that was set before him endured the cross, disregarding its shame, and has taken his seat at the right hand of the throne of God. And that quote is from Hebrews 12, verse 2, the New Revised Standard Version. His mannerisms led all who saw him to believe a real-life saint walked the earth. He spoke with gentleness. Wisdom came from his lips like water flowing from a waterfall. Like honey is sweet to taste and good for the body. So his words were a delight to hear and good for the thought. He practiced patience with all and served any person who came to him for help. He was willing soul. Could you lay fault at his feet? Not unless you knew some deep secret, of which he had none. It would only be false accusation and dissemination of lies. He lived until he was 98 years old, and because of his trust in Jesus, his unwavering faith, and his discipline to live according to God's instructions, he was content to live or die. His life was devoted to God either way. He was a man who walked humbly with God and lived his life as an example to all. What examples are you leaving for those who will follow in your steps? Well, this is a reading and it doesn't name the person. Every time I read this, I think of St. John the Evangelist, but that's just my mind roaming free. What examples are you leaving to those who will follow you in your steps? Well, I would say a person who brought the Word of God through his actions, just not words. There's an old saying attributed to St. Francis of Assisi, who said, "Preach the gospel of God, and if you have to, talk." Meaning, make your life a proclamation of the gospel. And I've always remembered that quote. And I think people will know that I do love the Word of God. And I'll tell you a story. When my father died it was the day after Christmas, 1998, we were dividing up, his belongings and all the things I gave to my father. He loved ships, so I get these old galleons, and he had them all along the route. They all came back to me, every single one of them. None of my brothers or sisters wanted them. None of my brothers or sisters. He was stuck in the technology of 8-track, so as they went out of favor, it was harder and harder to get them. But I got him a little 8-track player, maybe about that big, and you stick the tape in one side, and he loved to listen to old-time radio programs on that. No one wanted that. I got it. And then it's a big leather-bound Bible. Well, no one in my family even inquired about it. And I took it, and there was a note inside. And it said, "Joe." Well, he actually called me Joey all my life. He said, "I knew you want this. You'll find some gifts in here just for you. I'm so glad you have this now. He was absolutely sure that I was going to pick that thing. And he left me quite a bit of money on that Bible. So whoever had picked it, if they had any interest in the Word of God at all, would have got all that money. And I did, but I felt I gave it away. I didn't keep it for myself. You know, his wife was very ill. So I put some money in an account for her, and eventually, she had to go to a nursing home. Then she came back home, but when she was there, I didn't want her to want for anything. So I made the funds available for her to get whatever she wanted when she was in there. And then eventually, for anything she needed when she was on hospice, I got her a big 5-pound lobster. She wasn't at the point where she was actively dying, but she was hooked up to oxygen. She had pulmonary fibrosis. And, oh, that was a treat for her. Came over, cooked it. She sat down, she put the bib on. I had all this melted butter, and she just enjoyed that meal so much. And I was glad to be able to do those things for her with the money my father. It was quite an expensive lobster, even back then. I don't even know what the price would be now. But she enjoyed it, and that made me so happy. And so, that's some of those things. Sometimes, I don't know what made my father be absolutely sure that I would be the one. He knew that I loved the Word of God. He knew I read the Bible. He knew I went to church. I would pick him up, take him to church. Insofar as I know, none of my other brothers or sisters did that, but it meant something to him, so it meant something to me. And, yeah. So, well, I wish you all a good Wednesday, the 11th. God bless. And it's a nice warm day down here in Florida. Going to hit 80. I've got the air conditioner on. I think it'll probably go above 80. It feels like it's above 80 now on the porch. And thank God, this is a prayer of thanksgiving. The insurance company adjuster finally came and looked at the roof and said the roof was a mess, which we have been telling them. And so I think I'll get a new roof. Or at least a good patch, because they're responsible for the whole house. If a leak develops, then it comes with the claim that I filed. So it's taken 2 months of just going crazy on the phone, trying to keep my composure, and now it looks like it's finally going to happen. I should hear from them tomorrow with the report, and hopefully it'll be fixed very soon. So God bless you all. Have a good Wednesday.